Hey YouTube, I'm the guy behind the FoxyHippo. So I've been building groups and calling strats in RPGs since around the end of Kata, and ever since I started this channel, people have been asking me to do a few videos on how I do strat calling and how I build groups. So I'm not a super hardcore rating pusher, but the people that join my groups tend to enjoy them, I think. And I've got a few tips that I'm going to share with you today. And I honestly think that if you apply some of these tips, then one, you'll have more enjoyable experiences running RPGs in WoW. And two, you'll be in a better position to go and look for some of the more advanced tips by doing your own research and lots of networking in-game to find other people to play with that are at your level. That said, I'm going to start with how I build a group. So here's 3 quick tips to keep in mind when building an RPG group. Number 1, know your context. I mean this by what kind of group are you trying to build? It's important for you to know this, but also for the people in your group to know. You got to set the expectation. If you have people in there that are expecting to push rating to get a lot better, play against a lot better teams, then you don't want to come out and say, well, this is a YOLO after you've built the group and they've been sitting around waiting for it. Let them know up front. Are you doing a low experience group? So that sort of group, you're going to have to do a lot of hand holding with people who haven't done a lot of organized PvP. You're going to have to explain how BG targets works, team fights, target calling, etc. Are you doing a low CR group or alt run where people are expected to know what they're doing, but maybe they're not playing on their top rated tune with all the best gear? And it's meant to be more fun, a little bit more casual, but still serious. You still call in strats, you're still calling team fights, you're still wanting to win. Is it more of a serious rating push where everyone's of the same CR or current rating? Very serious play, you really don't want to lose in that situation, though it happens. Or are you just doing a YOLO? I'm assuming that if you're watching this video that YOLO isn't quite your thing, because already you're paying a little bit more attention to how the group is built. You need to communicate those things to those in your group. Get them in curse or your voice chat early and let them know what kind of group you're building. If they leave, they leave. Everybody's looking to have fun, or do something, so let them pursue those things. And you just might have to be a little bit more patient to build your group so that it's the right group. Number 2, Be Tagless over Group Finder. Now, everybody has to start somewhere. Group Finder is a great place to start. But as you go through Group Finder, you need to go the extra step. And every time you run into somebody who does well in a BG that you enjoyed playing with and that you think that you'd like to play with again, add them to your B tag list. Not only do that, but also set the note on the B tag entry. You want to right click on their name once they're already in the B tag list and hit set note. And when I do this, I document what classes they play seriously in PvP, because everyone has a ton of alts these days. Also put down the patch currently, because sometimes people will leave the game, come back, you see them and they're like, oh well, I'm not actually PvPing anymore, now I'm into raiding. And then I also put down what type of BG I either met them in or that they're into. If they're a serious rating pusher, I don't want to go trying to plug them into a low CR group on their main. Or if they're more of a casual player, you can still play with them, they're fun, but you don't want to pull them into your 2K push team. So run a variety, and in order to build that B tag list, you want to run a variety of BGs. You want to meet lots and lots of people. There are some people who are just coming in to PvP. There are some people who have been around for a long time. Build up that B tag list, and eventually you should get to the point where you no longer have to go through Group Finder, that you log in and you've got a plethora of people to choose from, and it's just a matter of matching up class comps then. And also, if they know that you're running BGs, or if you're a good strat caller or a good target caller, then it goes likewise. You could log in. These days I log in and almost immediately there's somebody in a group somewhere that's trying to fill it, and they're whispering me saying, hey, come join my group. And you never lack for something to do in that situation. Third tip, cater to comp. I can't exactly outline what the best comp is for you. It changes all the time. And if I did, there'd be a load of counter examples in the comments anyways. And those would change as well. Next patch, they'll buff something, nerf something, and then the best comps will change. But some things to keep in mind when you're looking at comp. Pay attention to what works. Get into other groups, get into other comps, do your research, find out what seems to be working at that time. You want to consider, does your group have a flag carrier? Who's going to do that? Do you what is of your healers? Do you have a raid healer? Do you have somebody who's good at dispelling? Do you have a single target healer? Do you have somebody who spins a flag well? Do you have a good target caller? Do you have a good strat caller? And do you have dot protection? Lately, that's something that's important. Something that's or some class that puts out some effect that makes it so that the healers pay a penalty for dispelling all of people's dots. The list goes on, but that's a starter list. Consider those things as you're building a group. Eventually you'll get a feel for what's working, what works for you, and you'll be able to build from that. I don't believe in a strict recipe for success. As I've gone up in rating, or as I've played different types of games, I've seen all kinds of things. There are certain, depending on the expansion and how it is, there are certain things that work and certain things that don't work, and it's kind of fun to experiment sometimes. But again, that goes back to tip number 1. You got to set that expectation in your context, where you got to explain to people in your group, we're trying something new, and if they're okay with that, they'll stick around. If they're not, then they'll leave. And you just want to make sure you're not wasting anybody's time. So those are 3 quick tips for the novice group builder. There's a lot more I could say on this, and I'll probably do another video on this for a few more tips, but I didn't want to overload this one with too much. Start with those 3 tips, and I think you'll see a real improvement in the quality of groups that you put together, especially as you follow through with that tip number 2 of building up your battle tag list of friends and acquaintances that you meet in-game that are around your level that do well, and keeping track of them over time. An added benefit of all this is that you'll build those friendships and you'll find people that you enjoy playing with, which is kind of the point of a multiplayer game. Thanks for joining me this week. Hit the like and the subscribe button and share this video with your friends. I do these videos every Sunday, and I will see you next week.